Welcome to This Week with Susie. This is the show that brings you the political economy rendition of current issues in the country. And this week we are going to be looking at why the National Employment Authority is mission impossible. One day, while visiting a certain country, an economist came upon a large crew of men building a dam with picks and shovels. When the economist inquired why in this day and age the men would use such crude equipment for such a gigantic task, his government bureaucrat host responded that this was a state-sponsored job creation program, and that if the men were given modern tools to construct the dam, the task could be completed in a few days rather than many months, thus destroying many jobs. Oh, the economist responded, I thought your goal was to build a dam. If it is more jobs that you want, why don't you have your men use teaspoons instead of shovels? That way, the task will take many years to complete and you will employ many more people. This week, the nation has lamented the appointment of Ms. Mary Wambui as the chairperson to the National Employment Authorities. Questions have been raised about her competence, her age, her meritocracy, and her distance decay with the youth unemployment realities, and rightfully so. But I submit, we are asking the wrong questions. We are engaging in an erroneous debate. We are distracted by applying an ad hominem reasoning. Ad hominem is a fallacious argumentative strategy whereby people avoid a genuine discussion of the topic at hand and instead attack the character of the person associated with the issue. They abuse them, they profile them, and demean them in every possible way, rather than cross-examining the substance of the issue itself. So hurling insults at Ms. Wambui really is an exercise in futility. It is the same as squeezing water. We should instead interrogate the utility of the National Employment Authority. This is a state agency that was established by an act of parliament, and its role was to provide an institutional framework for employment management, to formulate employment policies and strategies, and to enhance employment promotion interventions. It was also supposed to increase access to employment for the youth, for the minorities, and marginalized groups. So begs the question, is this authority's vision to provide employment opportunities for all attainable? Now, the brainchild of this state agency, they had their heart in the right place. And as with most of us, they were concerned with the high rates of employment in the country. In December 2018, the World Bank told us that our unemployment rate was at 9.31%. Now, unemployment rate is the share of the labor force that is jobless. And in economic speak, it is not everyone that is without a job that is considered unemployed. Unemployed people are those who are 1, willing, 2, able, 3, available to work, and are actively seeking for work. There are many people who would like to work but cannot, for example, due to a disability or an infirmity, or they could be incarcerated. Or perhaps they have become discouraged after looking for work without success, and hence they have ceased actively looking for work. This type of people are not considered unemployed, and so they do not form part of the unemployment rate. Now, with this understanding, let us revisit the utility of the National Employment Authority. Their mission is to formulate and implement employment policies and programs for creation of sustainable employment for all Kenyans. Dear Kenyans, jobs are not created by waving a magic wand in the air. Neither are they created in a political party's manifesto, or by employment authorities, by policies, or state programs. The problem of unemployment is not the inability to create enough jobs for all, but the creation of value. Because jobs are a response to market demand. And just like the man using shovels and picks to build a dam, we could as well ban all use of computers and create jobs for people to write for us using paper and pen. We could also ban all light switches and create jobs for lamp lighters. We could also ban all music apps and create jobs for live bands. You see, creating jobs is the easy part. However, creating value is a different kettle of fish altogether. The reality is that the National Employment Authority and other state job programs, they increase unemployment rather than the reverse. This is because the money required to pay Miss Wambui and her entire staff, her programs, and their total administration, that money is extracted from taxpayers. This is money that some tax-paying entrepreneurs could have, on the contrary, used to hire an extra worker. Or they could have invested it in research and development, and from that employ more people. They could have also increased their equipment and machinery to produce cheaper and better quality value products much faster, more efficiently, and thus reducing the cost of living, and in the process also employing many more people. You see, the key to reducing unemployment is not to focus on job creation, but rather on value creation. And one way we can do this is by catalyzing and incentivizing the innovation ecosystem. Innovation is a fundamental source of value creation in any economy. Granted, oftentimes across the innovation spectrum, there is some state funding of research on one hand, but rarely on product development on the other end. And in the middle is the graveyard gorge, where several promising innovations die a natural death because there are no resources that are required to usher them to the next stage in this spectrum. To cross this valley of death, there is need to facilitate the interplay of the innovators with the intention to exploit the discoveries that have been derived from their innovation and then graduate them to their commercial potential. And the state can easily do this through actions such as college scholarships for promising innovators, tax reduction for input imports, regulatory and licensure relief, and even providing seed capital. So the next time there's a discourse around creating jobs, please stop listening. Creating jobs is not the end game. Jobs will come into existence when there is a conducive environment to create value. So rather than establish the National Employment Authority and its likes, the state should set people free to use their talents, to create value for others, and the jobs will naturally follow. Finally, my unsolicited advice is to Wambui's disparagers and crafters of the National Employment Authority. Even the smartest person cannot learn if a teacher uses a black chalk on a blackboard in a dark room. Likewise, it is not about Wambui's competence or lack of it. Neither is it about the nobility of the National Employment Agency. It is simply that jobs respond to market demand, and the institutional architecture of this authority cannot stimulate this demand. Neither can it predict it in isolation. So it does not matter who is at the helm of this agency or how smart they are. It is mission impossible. Thank you for watching, and see you next week on This Week with Susie.